Greetings, friends and future friends. Today I want to show you how I repair my Sony 7506 headphone. These are great. I've got them all over the place. They fold up really nice into a camera bag when you're shooting video, and they sound awesome in the studio. Really a flat response. Now on these stock headphones, I put the BrainWavz pad on them. The stock pad kind of gets wore out really easy, and there's not that much cushioning on it. It really gets these little black flakes on your face after a while. But the BrainWavz is a little bit bigger padding, more comfortable, and with the perforated padding, it gives you a little more breathing room. Cooling, and their memory foam really works well. Now we have a pair of 7506s that they sound great, but they've seen better days. So before we make a repair, we got to make sure the surfaces are clean. And make sure that when you pull the old pads off, there's nothing stuck in the grooves and anything that could constrict the new pads going on. Same with the headband. Make sure it's clean, make sure there's no debris in it. Now I put a wire band on the top to keep that wire straight, because that wire is very important. That runs the signal to the other headphone from the inside. The main comes in on the left and it goes up through that headband to the other phone. Here is the Linkidea headband protection pad. Really a great thing. I'll leave a link below on it. And it's really cool because it just has a zipper on it, and you can zip it right on once you get everything set up. So we have padding and a little bit of foam rubber from my installation in the studio. And I like using this foam because it's got a groove in it. The headphones, of course, making sure they're clean and ready to go. And the headband, very essential. We'll make sure everything's clean there too, and get it ready to install. So now the first thing we want to do is make sure from that point over there on the right all the way to the left, that distance is the same as your foam rubber, because we want to make that foam rubber or anything you're using as a pad, make sure that's in there evenly. And I'm telling you, this insulation you buy for a studio works great. You can see it's even with both sides, and that groove in the middle actually makes a spot for the headband inside. So one thing we want to make sure is that's the left and that's the right speaker. So that's going to be facing you. So what that means is we want the zipper of this pad to be on the back, so you won't see it when someone's looking at you. Yeah, that's the zipper end on the back, and we want to make that facing towards the back. So let's get started. First, we're going to make sure the foam is straight, and then we're going to apply the Linkidea pad headband protector. Put that on really, and now all we're going to do is just match up the zipper, get it connected, and then once it's connected, it's pretty easy. You're just going to make sure the foam's all in line, make sure it's even, and start zipping it up. Sometimes the foam will move around when you're getting it pulled together, but it just takes a little time and you can get it. Start pulling on the zipper and away we go. Make sure that it's at the end. Slowly work that foam. Make sure that foam rubber is still in where you want it. Sometimes it moves around a little bit. And then it's easy. Just keep zipping it up. The problem I have with the foam is it gets stuck in the zipper a little bit. So you have to work it out and work around it and get that zipper started. There we go. Everything's even now. Keep pulling it tight. And sometimes I'll even get it, once I get it to this far, I can spin around and put my finger in there to hold the foam back so the zipper can go through. And get it finally zipped up, and there you have it. Now the Linkidea headband protector is installed. You can move the foam around a little bit, make sure it's nice and comfortable. And actually, this is a little more comfortable than the stock headband. I really like it a lot. So there you go, part one done. Now let's put the headphone pads on. They're a little more trickier to put on than the headband protector, but they stretch out pretty good and it's not as hard as you think. One thing I love about the 7506 is that you can fold these headphones up to pack them away, and it gets the one headphone out of the way so it can work. Now, when you look at the pad, there's a slot which the pad should fit into, but it's extremely hard to get into. Very hard, even with the originals. But with these pads, they're long enough. The stretchability of them is great because we can stretch them over the whole pad, which is way easier than trying to get that into that slot as the stock pads are. They really have a good flexibility point. So you got to work one end in, and like putting a tire on a car or a bicycle, you get one side in and that gives you slack for the other side. You keep working it in, making sure that you keep your fingers on the part where you do have it over the end and it doesn't slide off, because you don't want to lose what you've gained. But you keep working them, and once you get it around, they slide right on. And you can see that the material on the back of that pad is flexible and long enough that it goes over the whole pad. And I've had these on a lot of headphones, and I've never had any problems where the pad moved or it came off or it was loose. So we keep pushing, keep pulling and pushing, and finally that end just slides right over. And bingo, you got it. Now you have one pad on that headphone. Part 2 is completed. See, it's very long. There's a lot of material there, so you don't have to fit it into that slot. Now what we want to do is slide it and make sure that the oval part of the pad matches the oval part of the headphone. So we spin it around, make sure everything's nice and tight. Look at it again. I think it looks a little bit, okay, there we go. Get that in there around the wire. And everything looks good. Everything looks good, and I've had many headphones set up this way and never had one of these pads come off this way. Oh, it looks like it slid a little bit. So we'll slide that back a little bit, make sure that it's even. And you can tell these pads are perfectly even, so it doesn't really matter what sides you put on. They're a perfect oval. Some headphone pads are a little wider on one side than the other. So, part 2 is done. Now we're on to the last headphone pad. I edited a lot of this out because you saw how we did it the first time, so it's kind of like just repeating that same thing. And again, once you get it all straight, the big important part is to make sure that that oval in the headphone is equal around. Again, these ovals on these headphone pads are equal, so there's no one size is bigger. There's no bottom or top. They work equally on whatever way you have them spun around. But they will change a little bit, like you can see right there, because it's not on there. So once we spin it around a little bit, make sure it's straight with everything. Looks great. Everything's ready to go. Now we've just repaired the 7506 headphones, and they're ready for action. So there you have it, a job well done, like brand new. I love these 7506s. Man, with these BrainWavz pads, they're comfortable. You can wear them easily for hours. I have them in my vocal booth. And again, if you're doing some in the field recording with your video equipment, they fold up nice into a bag. They're excellent headphones. I've got probably about 6 or 7 pair of these things. So I hope this video helped you out on your Sony headphone repair. Take care, my friends.